Midnight here is joining me for this review, I guess, even though she didn't see the movie. So I went and saw The Lost City, the sort of romantic comedy adventure film with Sandra Bullock, Channing Tatum, Daniel Radcliffe, so forth. And I quite enjoyed it, I will admit. Not that I was, when I watched the trailer, not that I was like, ew, that doesn't look very good, but I just thought, oh, it's going to be like a run of the mill comedy. Actually, if anything, I thought it was just going to be kind of flat, and it definitely wasn't a flat movie. If anything, it reminded me of the old '80s film "Romancing the Stone" with Michael Douglas and I think it was Kathleen Turner. Um, but yeah, I quite enjoyed this film. It was funny in a lot of parts, tense in the adventurous parts, um, predictable. Spoiler, by the way, predictable about the ending, about these two people who don't like each other on an adventure, and of course they end up falling in love in the end. Of course, um, but that's not that big a deal, right? It's more a matter of the journey rather than the destination. Um, yeah, there's not much else I can say about it. I really enjoyed it. Oh, are you done with this review? All right, bye, Midnight. Uh, I mean, it's not a perfect movie, certainly. There's something that continues to happen during the film that kind of took me out of it. And that was okay, so the story follows Sandra Bullock as this writer, and she gets her inspiration for her romantic novels from her passion of archaeology and the past, lost cities and so forth. Um, I know it's anthropology, I think it is. I'm not good with words, as you can tell. So she uncovers some information about a lost city, not realizing that it is actually true. Daniel Radcliffe plays this rich guy who kidnaps her and is trying to use her to find the actual treasure of the lost city. Channing Tatum plays her model, who always models for her romance novels. He goes to rescue her. Brad Pitt's in the movie as this. What is it? He's like an ex-U.S. Marine. And then who else is there? Davine Joy Randolph plays her publisher. And as I was saying, the one thing that kept pulling me out of the movie was Davine Joy Randolph, and that is they would have these great scenes of Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum going through some sort of scenario, getting to know each other and all that type of stuff, and then they would cut to like a 2 minute scene of the publisher trying to get to where they're at, some Atlantic island sort of escape that they've gotten to. Not escape, but they're trying to escape from. Anyways, whatever. Again, bad words. And it was only be like a 2 minute scene. And yeah, they were, I guess, technically comedy bits, but they kept dragging me out of the film because I much rather wanted to follow. What were the characters' names? Loretta Sage and Alan Carbison. I much rather wanted to follow those two characters and their adventures and what they're doing and so forth. I don't know if those little slotted in scenes were just meant to be breaks so that the audience could be taken away for a second and then they're in a new scene. I don't know. There's also a small part of me that's wondering if it's kind of like a rewrite where they're like, we don't have a proper ending for this because the publisher shows up at the very end to kind of rescue them. But it wasn't a mini story where we were like, she was on her own character arc. It was just, she got to here. She runs into this problem, solves it by doing this. She runs to here. She runs into this problem, she solves it, and so forth and so on. And then at the very end, she shows up on like an African, what's it called? The police of the seas. Again, bad with words today. I am so bad with words. What are they called? I know some of you are probably looking at saying, it's this. Basically, yeah, like, I can't think of the word right now. I can't think of what they're called. Anyways, basically a big police boat, armored police boat, by the way, and she just happens to be at the sort of mouth of the water that our heroes emerged from by coincidence, which is why they had to show her traveling to get there. So there's a part of me that's wondering if they had a different ending in the film that didn't quite work. So they rewrote it that the publisher came in to kind of, rescue him at the very end, and then they had to, well, we got to show how the publisher got there, because you can't just show up. So we'll do this scene and this scene and this scene and this scene, and we'll just sort of slot them into the film, I guess. I don't know. Other than that, I really liked this movie. I really liked, obviously, the main cast, but also the supporting cast. Daniel Radcliffe plays this eccentric something heir, whether it be millionaire, billionaire, trillionaire, possibly, because he seems to have endless money. But he's what I love about his character is that he's a disgruntled sibling. Apparently, his family is some big family. I don't know if it was in publishing, or I can't quite remember what they did, but they were like big in the world. And the father passed away and passed the company onto his younger brother, kind of shortening out Daniel Radcliffe. Um, so he's kind of on a vengeance mission to find something that no one has ever found before, because Daddy didn't love me. It's actually a very great character build for this character, whether it was Daniel Radcliffe playing him or someone else, doesn't really matter. I also loved Brad Pitt in the film. Again, spoilers for the movie. He dies before about the halfway mark, right? Which was great, because you needed him out of the film. You needed to have these two characters, Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum's characters, who are not jungle people, not survivors, trying to get out of the jungle, get to safety, and all that type of stuff. And if you have this rough and tumble ex-Marine dude who can just take care of them, no problem, well, then there's no tension. So yeah, they got to get him out. I will say, though, the film itself is fine on tone until the post-credits scene, right? Everything is within reality. It's within norms. You can't really just go, well, that's stupid. No, none of that until the post-credit scenes. They're in the post-credit scenes after Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum have gotten together. They're in this yoga class, because it's established that Channing Tatum met Brad Pitt in a yoga class, or at least a self-meditation class. So they're in a self-meditation class, and Brad Pitt is in the class with them. This is after they've gotten together. And they tried to write it off, because in the film he gets his head blown off. We actually don't see it. All we see is you hear a shot, a blood spatter all over Channing Tatum, and then Brad Pitt's out of the movie. But now he's back in the movie, and they try to write it in where it was like, oh, well, they say you only use 10% of your brain. I just shifted it to the other 10% of my brain. And I'm like, oh, movie, no. You were doing so well with realism and tone. We didn't need this. We didn't need, oh, I shifted my brain around and now I'm using, no. They did play Brad Pitt off as kind of like a James Bondish indestructible action hero in the scenes that he's in, but that was too much. That post-credit scene where he shows up again, for really no reason. They didn't even need to have that post-credit scene. His character died. You could have had anything else. You could have his twin brother, whatever. But to actually bring the character back and try to write it like that, I just noticed my rip is on camera here. It's an old chair with a cat. What can you do? Anyways, yeah, no, they didn't need to have that post-credit scene. Other than that, I quite enjoyed the film. Quite enjoyed the film. That's the second one of these. I saw Jungle Cruise last year, and I quite enjoyed that. So I don't know if it's just a reconnaissance of adventure films in the jungle, or if just coincidental. They've made two kind of good Amazonian type adventure films that I've seen in the past couple of years. Either way, I'm probably going to rewatch Romancing the Stone because this movie takes, from what I can remember, not a beat for beat, but takes a lot of sort of um, elements from Romancing the Stone. But that's it for me, I guess. We'll see you next time.